The most profitable lie in the longevity industry is that losing cellular energy as we age is like a battery slowly running out of charge. The marketing implies you just need to buy a supplement to plug it back in. The truth is, aging does not passively drain your cells. Intracellular NAD+ depletion is an active, massive demand crisis. Your body is forcefully chewing through its energy to fight off biological stress. This schematic contrasts the passive aging myth on the left with the metabolic reality on the right. Your energy system operates like an industrial tank riddled with leaks. Chronic inflammation, overnutrition, and oxidative stress rapidly consume NAD+ stores while impairing your ability to refill them. Buying expensive pills to force fuel back into your cellular energy system is mathematically useless if you do not first understand exactly where your tank is leaking. Despite this reality, consumers routinely spend hundreds of dollars trying to jam raw chemical fuel into a broken system. They usually rely on the two heavyweights dominating the longevity space and battling for wallet share, NR and NMN. If you are trying to make a purchasing decision, you face a major dilemma. You have to separate aggressive, podcast-driven marketing hype from rigorous clinical reality. To solve this energy crisis, we cannot blindly supplement. We must evaluate exactly how these distinct molecules enter the cell membrane and what biological toll they take once inside. NMN is a larger molecule, burdened by an attached phosphate group, while NR has a smaller, streamlined footprint. This dictates cellular entry. NMN faces a bottleneck, too large to enter efficiently, and must be degraded into NR. NR enters directly. This chart interrogates the clinical hype. Look at the left panel, titled The Human Rodent Gap. The longevity market relies heavily on NMN mouse models, but what cures aging in a mouse often yields highly unpredictable, individualized results in humans. When we check the clinical scorecard, human data separates the two. Notice the column of green checkmarks under nicotinamide riboside. NR has overwhelming human trial data, holds FDA-notified GRAS status, and sets the gold standard for oral safety, while NMN continues facing regulatory turbulence. We also need to avoid wasting capital on disproven stack add-ons. Looking at the center and right panels, leading researchers point out there is zero clinical evidence for adding resveratrol. Furthermore, high-dose niacin contains metabolites strongly linked to promoting vascular inflammation. Weighing molecular entry efficiency directly against established human safety data, NR is the superior raw fuel. But having the right fuel is only step one. There are severe biological dangers to blindly dumping extreme, unregulated doses into a compromised human system. This triggers the NNMT paradox. It is a metabolic bottleneck that occurs when abnormally high amounts of NAD+ precursors hit the liver and completely backfire. This diagram illustrates the risk. By forcing too much fuel, the NNMT enzyme intercepts it, starving the salvage pathway and dropping systemic NAD+. Worse, this hijacked process leaves byproducts converting directly to homocysteine, a major cardiovascular disease risk factor. Taking massive precursor doses over 1,000 milligrams doesn't accelerate longevity. It risks systemic depletion and introduces cardiovascular threats. To safely utilize NR fuel, you must repair and turn on your internal recycling system. This chart maps the cellular engine. Notice the circular blue loop at the bottom? That is the salvage pathway, the primary engine accounting for over 85% of mammalian NAD+ synthesis. This graphic details the strict behavioral inputs required to physically activate that pathway. Fasting, endurance exercise, heat stress, and circadian rhythm alignment are the performance equalizers that naturally power the system. Before you add fuel, you must identify your system leaks. Look at the left drain valve on this schematic, labeled CD38. This membrane enzyme wildly consumes your NAD+ in direct response to age and chronic inflammation. You must plug that leak. The targeted pharmacological solution is using phytosomal quercetin or apigenin to physically inhibit and block the CD38 drain. High-quality fuel only yields a return on investment if you first patch the systemic holes and forcefully turn on the engine with behavioral discipline. This brings us to the master lifespan blueprint. Your safety and efficacy depend entirely on matching your protocol to your specific age bracket, integrating the fuel, the salvage pathway activator, and the blockade. If you are under 35, your core strategy is preserve and protect. You rely entirely on behavioral inputs like circadian discipline and training to maximize expression. You must strictly avoid introducing high-dose chemical precursors prematurely. Moving to the 35 to 50 demographic, metabolism naturally slows and inflammatory activity rises. Here, you introduce a 500 mg baseline of NR fuel, paired tightly with a leak plugger like quercetin to support the struggling salvage pathway. For those 50 and over, the strategy shifts to block and flood. You utilize a maximum safe operating window of 500 to 1,000 milligrams of fuel daily, while implementing strict blockades against deeply entrenched NNMT and CD38 metabolic drains. True cellular longevity is an evolving, highly managed system that changes to match your biological age. It is never a static, daily magic pill. We reject NMN based on its heavy reliance on rodent data and ongoing regulatory issues. Oral nicotinamide riboside remains the evidence-based clinical standard for intracellular optimization. Remember, no amount of advanced chemical fuel can outwork the damage of poor sleep, chronic stress, and a sedentary lifestyle. True health optimization is not defined by what you buy. It is defined by strict protocol discipline and managing your metabolic circuitry to yield a proven biological return.